Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest narration of the web series The Burning Ones. If you are new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 12, The Sheepdog and the Ghost. Saying rapid assault and recovery guys were suicidal would be an understatement. Calling them brave would be too. No one else in the universe was crazy enough to ride a tiny, barely shielded assault craft strapped to a terribly unstable temporal space folding generator. In fact, basically, no one understood why it didn't turn the crew into puddles of meaty goo every time they jumped into battle. No other species even attempted to do this with drones. It was too dangerous. Still, with the rapid spread of humankind throughout the vast, vast galaxy full of terrors and threats beyond imagining, the central human government had no choice but to utilize all the resources at their disposal to protect its members, wherever they may be, from whatever hornet's nest they would inevitably kick. If this required strapping their guys to a rocket and firing it through an unstable wormhole, the humans would do it. The drive within the human to protect is high, very high, when compared to a species' mean value. So too is the drive to kick hornets' nests. Luckily for the RAR teams, humans get in trouble all the time, all over the galaxy. They never run out of conflict or missions to display their warrior prowess. I read this in their website. Sort of, okay. I learned to read between the lines after hanging out with humans, but really, I'm pretty sure that it was what it meant. "Who is your communications specialist?" I asked. "That's CV." Mark pointed to the female silhouette and one soldier I hadn't met. The woman waved, somehow appearing friendly behind her body armor. It was covered in a muted, discrete pattern of what appeared to be skulls from various species. Hard to notice if you weren't looking for it. "What do you need, Chief?" "I have got intel to share," I said, extending my arm as Corvid spoke in my ear. "I'm not touching a human." "Corvid, play nice." I shook my wrist until Corvid finally relented and uncovered the data-sharing node. "We've got a swarm of reprogrammed planetary survey bots flying around for reconnaissance." "Smart." CV extended her arm and tapped her wrist against mine. "Got him, thanks, Chief. I'll wire everyone together, comms and visual computers." "We've got maps." Don was holding his hand out in front of him, manipulating some sort of holographic system wired into his suit. "Plotting our exit." "I'm almost out of ammunition," Allison said. "You guys got any 45 cal?" "Got you covered." Breaker thumped his thigh with his fist and a pair of magazines popped out from behind the armor. He handed them to Allison. "Breaker," Mark flashed a signal with his fingers, pointing at the child. The boy was sitting cross-legged on the floor opposite Taika and V. They were rolling a black ball back and forth. No, a grenade. Wonderful. "Got you, boss." Breaker grabbed his breastplate and peeled off a giant section, the rest rearranged to level out the distribution. He knelt down beside the kid. "Hey, buddy, would you like my armor? Want to wear something like a big old Breaker?" The kid nodded, and Breaker pressed the plate against his chest. The blade rippled and broke into a scale mesh and then spread across the child's entire body. "We're good to move," Mark pointed up and then swirled his finger in a loop. "Breaker, you're on the kid. CV, you're on the fox. I've got Allison, Chief. You're Don." "Copy." I moved to Don's side. He was readying a strange-looking scoped compact rifle. It had a magazine in the stock instead of near the trigger, like all the other guns I'd seen. "Okay, Mark looked at Taika. "Don't know what to do with you all. Don, this thing talk?" "Taika," the Kokoran said loudly. "Taika," Mark shifted uncertain. Rear." The Kokoran said adamantly, like he was the obvious and only choice to be made. Taika takes up the rear. I swear, I could hear Mark smiling inside his helmet. "Good plan, Don. Do we have a window?" Watching the patterns, Don's hands waved through the air. He must have been manipulating the drone feed on his helmet screens. "Should have one soon." "Taika, smart." Mark took Allison's hand and put it on his belt. "You stick with me. Don't go firing that cannon into my ass. Let us do the fighting until it gets bad. Everyone good?" Breaker knelt down and let the boy climb onto his back. The armor he placed on the child earlier locked into place and secured the boy like a backpack. "Ready to rock, boss." Breaker slapped himself on the helmet, then turned to Taika, hand over his chest, fingers swirling through some sort of motion. "Bro, I'm so sorry, man. Was that offensive?" To my surprise, Taika raised an arm and flicked his massive fingers in a rapid sequence I could not follow. Raegar responded in turn. Of course, GSL. It was sign language. I should have known Tiger was capable of better communication. He wasn't stupid. Tiger's vocal cords would never have developed on a planet with toxic atmospheres such as Kokora. Window in 20 seconds, boss. Don dropped his hands, closing whatever interface he had been using. Chief, it's you and me on point. Don't get on my right side, I said, tucking my wings and moving in front of Don. Got to keep my sword arm free. I read The Art of Paired Wings last week, Don said. He checked the chamber on his firearm and then backed towards me until his shoulder touched mine. Good tactics book, almost poetic. Move, go, 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 Mark barked. Don and I had already begun our ascent through the corridor. I could see the human's guardian walking calmly on the other side. 5 on the corner, 10 o'clock, CV said in our radio. Got it, Don replied. I lowered my left wing in front of his body. Wrapped my right around my own as we turned the corner. The guardian moved in my peripheral. He extended his hand, 2 fingers outstretched, and touched Don's temple. I've never seen someone shoot so fast. 3 seconds, 5 shots. The fake patrol group dropped. Bodies hitting the floor made more noise than the gun Don had used. Straight on, Don said, and marked the junction ahead, hanging right up there. As we navigated the ship, I could see the human drive to protect burning brightly. At each junction, Jon shielded only his silent footsteps in the corner of my wing, entering my field of battle first. Unafraid and expertly fired his weapon. The others on his team walked in front of their chargers, using their bodies as shields to protect the humans and the aliens they had added to their little pack. I would learn later, surrounded by empty bottles and the dulcet tones of my friends sleeping peacefully, that these humans call themselves sheepdogs. These domesticated animals are bred as companions to shepherds on the human settlements. To those who are not a threat, they are friendly and kind. They are loving companions and keep their masters warm in the cold. But these same creatures fight as vicious as the wolves who would hurt their precious flock, sometimes laying down their lives for the ones they protect. At each turn in the journey, Don's guardian did something. It always was something small. The lights above dimmed slightly. The buzzing noise in a conduit ceased. Sometimes the guardian laid a hand on Don's shoulder or touched his head. Every time Don performed with perfection, and his bullets found their marks. Don and his guardian worked like a long arm stretched out in front, clearing the way for those behind. We walked safely all the way into one of the launch bays where the Peg kept their landing and breaching craft. It seems these RAR soldiers think very similar to Allison. Rather than planning a complex exit, they choose to use the resources available to them, to do so smoothly and with little effort. With the bay cleared of hostile forces, we chose a transport and set out to depart. VE and Allison and CV and Tiger were already on board. CV was talking on the comms about how weird the pilot controls were and telling VE to point that damn scattergun somewhere else. Breaker had 1 foot on the deck and 1 on the launch bay when the boy started screaming. He was clawing his way at Breaker's armor. Everything he touched was smoldering. The boy's guardian overshadowed his body and was glowing hotter every second. Breaker stumbled forward, unable to reach the feral child on his back. Breaker's guardian roared and leapt into action. It raised both of its massive fists and hammered down on the boy, and the guardian bonded to him. The battle armor shattered, freeing the 2 of them in their struggle. "But boss!" Breaker shouted. He clawed at his back and removed several still flaming plates where the kid had detached. "We got a problem." "I see it." Mark sighed and placed his pistol into a holster mounted on his leg. The kid turned on Breaker, wailing madly. His skin was spouting flames and smoking everywhere. His fist erupted in crimson fire. The child struck Breaker in the knee. "Ah!" Breaker fell as his armor and his leg cracked in several pieces, clattered to the floor, bits of molten metal dripping from the bottom. "Boss, I don't want to be a barbecue man. Do something." Mark outstretched both of his arms. "Come on, Ghost." His guardian leapt forward. End. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps. Cold War Boomerwaffen, Sevaren Serberous, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Casper Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.